Okay, so this is a reading for the collective. Let's see what the theme is. Okay, it's interesting. That's been going up a lot, that particular card. So these are the Rana George Lenormand. So we're going to use Lenormand to get the theme of what this reading is. I've also got a couple of the Celtic Lenormand in there as well, which some of the cards that I like in there as well. Okay, I don't think we're going to get any more cards out of this deck for the theme. So the theme, it looks to me, let's have a look. We have the book. So this is a card. So on its own, like this, as a theme, this is learning. This is knowledge. So learning from books, texts, that kind of thing, as opposed to learning from your own experience. So knowledge in this kind of sense as a book plus experience is wisdom. Yeah, you with me? Okay. So the overarching theme is one of learning, knowledge, kind of scholarly type things. So it's quite a vast subject there. So let's drill down on that a little bit and get a little bit more information about what this knowledge, what this learning is actually all about. So I'm using a different Lenormand deck. These ones seem to like to explain, if that makes sense. Okay, so we have the breach. Oh, and the cross. Okay, let's take those then. Ooh. Learning. Let me just show you this, because this card is amazing. I love this card. This is from the Gilded Reverie Lenormand deck. I'm hoping that's in focus because my eyes aren't great tonight. And then we have the cross. So this learning experience is definitely going to be one of the idea of bridging something. So because you've got the cross there, now the cross isn't always, it doesn't always mean something heavy that you're carrying. It can mean the spiritual journey. And because we have the book, my suggestion is this is to do with your spiritual journey, your, as we call it, your illuminated synchromystic path, which unfolds. So, because we have the book, my suggestion is that this is your spiritual journey. Are they wonky? No. Okay. And this is to do with bridging the gap between where you are and where you want to be, which again is quite broad. So let us grab, I will pull some tarot cards as well, but I just want to get the feel, the kind of broad strokes, if that makes sense. So we've got learning on your spiritual journey, and it's specifically the bridging of something. So how do you get from A to B? And a bridge is obviously a shortcut. So, or the easiest way to get somewhere, yeah? Okay, so we want one or two cards. Oh, excuse me. It took me ages to get text stuff sorted out tonight. It was a bit mad. Ooh, stuck to my finger. Oh, building blocks. Okay. That's interesting. We have these orbs of light. So we have water, we have boat. There's definitely a journey on your synchromystic path going on here. Maybe it's not necessarily about... Whoa! Okay, I'll take those two. The rest was a bit weird. Wow. Okay. So it might not necessarily be about the bridge, building the bridge. It might actually be to do with the river. Change. The winds of change. Interesting. Let me show you that card as well. Right, let me show you that one, because that is a very cool card. These are the elemental oracle, something like that. And then we have the winds of change. So the winds of change can fuel your boat, can drive your boat. Yeah, just make sure you can see that. And then we have, I thought there was two cards there. There's not. The soul, passion. So what is driving what is driving your spiritual journey? And this knowledge, this whatever it is that you're learning about your spiritual journey and how you get from A to B. So yeah, this isn't about bridges. This is about how you get from A to B. So this is about, what's that one again? Atoms. I think it says building or buffering. Writing so small on this. Building, yes, I thought it did. Building. So you've got the building blocks. So your foundation, essentially your foundation, yeah, which will be your soul's passion or your soul's desire. How does your soul want to express itself? In this realm that we are in now. And I've said this before, you know, what are the things that you love doing that don't what are the things that don't feel like work to you? What are the things that you just do without really um, feeling like you have to put in the effort? Um, that will be your foundation for getting from A to B on this spiritual journey, on this illuminated synchromystic path. And this brings about the winds of change. Whenever it's really windy outside, and we've had a lot of rain, and we've had a lot of windy days. We were sitting there the other day, and the wind just poof blew the window shut. It's like, nope, you're not having your window open. Whenever we get that kind of weather, that windy weather, I always say it's the winds of change, because it's big movement. It moves things in a very big way, including closing windows. So, okay. So we've got what moves you from A to B. The foundation of your journey. Yeah. And whether you have just started your journey, or maybe you're seasoned on your path, either way, is I'm not saying it's a journey without an end, but there's a continual unfolding which is taking place at the moment. So this idea of building your foundation, in this card, you're in a boat on the water. So water, when it's in its fluid state, is not static unless it's stagnant water, and you really don't want to be in that kind of energy. You've even got water here. The soul passion, you got water there. Do you have water in this card? No. So it's not a static thing. Yeah, this illuminated synchromystic path is not static. Why is that important? Why is that important? That you know that this is not a static path. Because it's always a question of learning, full stop, and being able to. Now, I don't know much about boat things, but what I do know is when you're in a boat, you can course correct quite quickly, sort of, but it does take a little while from what I can ascertain. It's not like a car on the road. Yeah, it works slightly. It's a different medium that you're moving through. Yeah, there's more resistance in water to being on the road. So if you are course correcting on the water, which is in that card there, it's learning how to do that course correction, when you need to. And sometimes that can be, it needs fast response is probably not the right word, but it needs you to be responsive, even proactive, yeah? Looking ahead. Because when you're on this path, yeah, it's not just a case of, oh, let's get to the end of it, and not look where you're going, yeah, that would be a bit silly. So kind of having a view on the horizon while you're focused, on what's passing in front of your magical eyes, for example, yeah, noticing the signs, the synchronicities, the confirmations, is all part of that path. Where am I going with that? So it's like your senses expand to be able to take all of that in, and we call it your if when you are walking this kind of path, is you have your magical eyes with which to see, which is it, your magical eye. Yeah, there's only one in this picture, but imagine you have two, or three. Boop. So it's always shifting, moving, and changing. Yeah, it's not a static thing, this path. Okay, so the learning on your spiritual journey from A to B involves your foundation, which is being able to navigate, yeah, course correct when you need to. What is your soul's passion or your soul's desire? How does it want to be in this realm, in this dimension of space and time? And I would say embrace the winds of change. So let's grab one of these quickly. Let's just get a little bit more on this Winds of Change card. This is a really, it's a fun deck actually. I can't remember what it's called. Put the box away. Witches something. Witches Oracle maybe? I don't know. Anyway. Let's take that one. Oh, okay. This is interesting. Before you go and set on your path, I think that makes sense. So before you set out, that's better. Before you set out on your path, you want an intention. Yeah. Set your intention. Before you start to move from A to B, yeah. Set your intention. Be crystal clear on your intention. Choose your words carefully. And what I try and do is I write it out like long, if that makes sense, and then I whittle it down until it forms a concise sentence that maybe you can use as a mantra if you need to. Yeah. So, yes, before you do anything, set your intention. Intention is 99% of universal law. Okay, don't forget that. And it's very powerful. And this is the obviously this is one of the tools. Excuse me. One of the tools, the wand, which corresponds to the element of fire. So your will, your intention behind this learning on your spiritual journey from A to B. Yeah, and we have the fire here in these globes as well, which is interesting. That's your, in fact, got the neutrinos as well. We have neutrinos. Oh, that's lovely. I love that. Neutrinos rule. Interesting. So this could even be the spiritual journey from A to B is about really kind of uncovering, unmasking who you truly are. Now, for me, I see us as this light here, or this wispy light, or these orbs of light. It's all good. Right. Let's pull a couple of the Tarot of the Abyss. For any other information on this journey, this learning, because we're learning all the time, especially on this kind of path, yeah. And I don't mean learning from a point of view of what other people necessarily think this is all about, this journey. This is, whoa, okay. This is the internal learning, yeah, the great work, essentially. So, oh my goodness. Okay, we have Page of Swords. Let me show you that. I love this card. This is such a cool card. Sorry. Yeah, Page of Swords. Sorry. For some reason, I thought it was once, and it's not. And is it going to focus? Doesn't want to focus. I spent ages getting the lighting right so I could get focus, and it won't focus. So, actually, we'll just put that down there. Oh my goodness. And the Ten of Pentacles. Amazing. Okay. So this amazing journey on your illuminated, synchromystic, unfolding path from A to B. Get your foundation sorted. Set your intention first. Yeah. In this thing that we call the great work, there are different tools, I would say, that will kind of help you set that foundation. And this idea that you can affect change by setting an intention, building your foundation, which would be the great work, the unmasking of who you truly are. Yeah. Finding out, by self-inquiry, what is it that my soul wants to experience? Yeah. Now, etc. Page of Swords. So what's interesting, when I was doing my little group, Dismembering Tarot on Telegram earlier, if I remember, in fact, let me write that down. I will post the link to the channel. Otherwise I will forget. Telegram. Every Tuesday, 6:30, I hold space for what I call dismembering tarot. And we tonight was the Queen of Swords, so we discussed. I had a few different Queens of Swords out, and other people were throwing in their Queens of Swords, and we were just exploring that particular card in all the different guises that she has through different decks. So this character here, Page of Swords, is actually... Oh, can I find that quickly? I don't know. Let me just... Oh, fucking hell. Excuse my French. She's at the bottom of the deck. There she is. Queen of Swords. Yeah. So, this character here is... This is the journey that she is on before she reaches the Queen of Swords. So this is a journey for her. So this is a journey for you. Yeah. So in this card, in the Page of Swords, she hasn't quite reached this very poised, centered, knows her own mind. Yeah. This card is one of inquiry, self-inquiry. Swords, elemental air, the mental body, the mind. Yeah. So this is all... You've even got a book here. It's reinforcing that. Yeah. Self-inquiry. Yeah. On this path. So you could say, well, how do I do self-inquiry? One of the best ways you can do self-inquiry is with cards. Yeah. Ask it. Actually have a conversation with your cards like you were talking to a friend. Yeah. You can do that. That's one of my preferred ways. Meditation is another one. Walking is another one. Setting an intention, and then maybe doing some magic work around that. Sitting in meditation, or if you've set an intention and you've condensed it down into something like a mantra, if you can... I advocate an hour, because if you mantra for an hour, you will be very surprised how it changes your whole frequency. Yeah, it's amazing. But if you can't do an hour, I understand that. That's fine. But even 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. The longer you do it, the more it affects your different layers of your being. Yeah. So, yeah, Page of Swords. This is all about inquiring minds want to know. So this is your self-inquiry right here. Yeah. Here's the light. Light. We have light in a lot of these cards. In fact, we have light even in the Winds of Change. We have light behind the cross. We have lighting your way from A to B. And in this card, this soul card, you've got lots of butterflies and dragonflies in there. Transformation. From A to B is a process of transformation. And when you're in the middle of it and you're going, oh my God, why did I even start this? That's normal. That's like when you are, I don't know, decorating and you're in the middle of it and you haven't finished yet, but it's not what it was, and it's not what you want it to be, and it's just a big mess. So it seems, yeah. That's, in the middle of the transformation. If you get to that, oh my God, just go back to your intention. Maybe rework it. Yeah. Because it's not a static thing. None of this is static. It's always moving. It's always flowing. Pardon me, water. Yeah. It's amazing that was on the bottom of the deck. Wow. 10 of Pentacles. Wow. So as you move through this journey, and in fact, I'm going to keep this card here, Queen of Swords, because once you get to this aspect of yourself, and we were talking about this particular card keeps coming up. The Queen of Swords keeps coming up, yeah, whether it's my readings or other people's readings, keeps on coming up, yeah. So this is it's the first step before mastery, yeah. So you've learned, here we go. There's the book, yeah. You've done this process of learning how to walk this illuminated synchromystic path from A to B. Yeah, you might not be at B yet, but the Queen of Swords indicates that it's pretty close. Yeah, you know, you've set your intention, you've got your foundation, you know how to navigate the waters. Yeah, you know you can actively listen to the guidance from your soul, your higher self. Yeah. And you've come to this place of self-inquiry, or you come to this place of self-inquiry often, I would say. It's your go-to. It's kind of, it becomes a default. Yeah. Until you get to this place here, where this is the preparation, this is the stillness, this is the know your own mind, which is what all this is about. Know thyself. Yeah. So know your soul, but also know your own mind. Yeah. And when the two kind of merge, yeah, what do you get? I would say you get the Ten of Pentacles, actually, because this is abundance of all things that are needed to thrive. So, and then that would depend on the individual. That could be lots of family around you. That could be, you know, being comfortable with money. That could be having an amazing home. That could even be having, that could even be having, that could even be, I do speak English, I promise. Could be anything. It's whatever that kind of security is for you. Yeah. But once you know thyself, you know your soul's passion, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Once you know that, then you'll know when it's here. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Excuse me, my dog is making a fuss. Go on, out. Go on. They just love it. Never worked with children and animals. Okay, so I'm going to pull one more card. So if you're into crystals, I am. Ah! That wasn't for you, by the way. That was for the dog. Stop it. Go on. I'll pull one more card as a crystal that you can utilize for this work, for this journey, for this. Ooh, no, 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 stop it. Oh, okay. I like that one. Black Moonstone. Divine Feminine. Moon. So we don't have the moon in any of these cards, but we do have water, which is amazing. Black Moonstone. What does Black Moonstone look like? This is what Black Moonstone looks like. Isn't it gorgeous? So if you can find yourself some black moonstone, that will certainly, and it's a very powerful crystal, that will certainly help you move through this journey. Okay. And we've got the number 10 again here. 10 of Pentacles. There we go. I don't think there's any other 10s on the board. On the board? No, can't see any other 10s. But we do have the black moonstone, which is number 10, and the 10 of Pentacles. Lovely. Okay, I'm going to end it there. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to, thumbs up and all that other stuff. Yeah. If you liked this video, fantastic. I'm going to go because the dog's being a little monkey. Cheerio.